Hi, this is John Marshall, the DrillMaster, bringing you the first of a video critique. This video critique is brought to you by DrillMaster's Color Guard Coach's Field Manual. You can obtain a copy, secure a copy for yourself at my website in the resources, or the shop, actually, the store, not the resources section, but you can visit there too. Or you can go to millbar.com or paradestore.com. They each carry these manuals. All right, and actually, I probably should say a little bit more. The Color Guard Coach's Field Manual is everything that a junior ROTC, Sea Cadets, young Marines, Civil Air Patrol, it's the concise, boiled down information that you need to know for color guard. Now, it's not a restating of all of the manuals. That would be silly. The manuals are out there. What this is just a snippet of all of that information that's contained in each one of the 3 service drill and ceremonies manuals. So, Training Circular 3-21.5, Marine Corps Order 5060.20, and then also Air Force Manual 36-2203. All drill and ceremonies manuals. The boiled down information is in the Color Guard Coach's Field Manual. It's a smaller size, 6 by 9, and it also has a page. Well, each page has a blank space on it, a strip on it, to where you can write your own notes. It's more like a lesson plan. Teachers would know it almost right away. It's not divided up specifically like a lesson plan, but it is more similar to a lesson plan than you taking the field manual or the training circular out with you and having this giant book that you have to have. So this is a more concise information, plus it also has other information for you as well for colors presentations. All right, on with the armed regulation drill sequence for Desert High School. And I wanted to say a big thank you to Angel Perez down there. This is his account. He requested this video critique, and we're going to get started right now. So as I look, looking at the slings right now, and okay, you've got the keepers butted up right next to each other, which is fine. It's not a big deal. At least you're uniform across the flight, and that's okay. So, but Commander, you're carrying your sword incorrectly. The sword, your thumb actually should be along the seam of your trouser leg, and you're just carrying it forward. But your hand looks to be good, but I'll keep an eye on that as we go. All right, here we go. You should have checked that before there, Commander. Port, let's pause right there. All right, so as you can see throughout, let me use the pointer here. That is the upper sling swivel band. So the upper sling swivel band needs to be at chin level and I know this gets confusing, for flight drill, armed flight drill, we're going to use Training Circular 3-21.5. When we get to colors, then we're going to use the Marine Corps order. I know it's a little strange, but for colors, the guards are supposed to be at the outside shoulder, so that's why we use the Marine Corps order, and we use the Marine Corps order techniques. But when we get to flight drill, armed flight, armed element, then we're going to follow the Training Circular. So that band has to be at chin level, not eye level. All right. The rifle should also be approximately 4 inches from your torso. So it's easy to measure because 4 inches, well, for me, all the measurements that were ever done for the military were based on the average height American male back in the 1950s. Now, obviously, we're not dealing with the average height American male here, which is fine, but just as a point of reference, my fist, or the average American male's fist, is about 4 inches wide here. So you place that on your chest, and you can see that where the rifle should be. Now, when you come to females, it's different. It's from the breastbone. All right, so we're not going from any other body part, if you know what I mean. We're going from the breastbone. So female cadets, then what you're just going to have to do is get used to looking down and ensuring, well, everybody, you just have to get used to looking down and ensuring that you have that visual reference point of 4 inches. And once you get that muscle memory there, then it's no problem. Here we go. Oh, well, thank you, Internet. Why are you... Okay, Commander, so why did... As the flight marched forward, I can see that you're closing up everywhere. You're closing inside to side. You're closing up front to back as well. So the spacing isn't where it should be. Commander, why did you execute a half left face? It looks like you might be a little nervous. I don't know. So a half left face, then you give present arms. But for every command, when you are, and I should have said this when you were halted. For every command that you give when the flight is halted, you have to be facing the flight, the formation. You have to face it. That's the Air Force manual standard. That's every service manual standard. You face the flight when you're giving the command. So executing that half left means that you didn't center yourself on the judge, and then now you have your flight saluting the Marine Corps team that's in front of you, or the mountains. And I really miss Arizona. Anyway, but what you should have done is halted much more centered on the judge, face the flight, and if you're required to have the whole flight then present arms, then you face the flight, give present arms, execute about face, and then execute present arms with your sword, your academy sword. I apologize for this. Holy cow. All right. So, at the risk of stopping and having that, well, I'm going to have to do it again. Anyway. All right. So, inspection arms is supposed to be done in line formation, not column formation. So, off the bat, you've missed something here, and which was a left face to begin with. So you should have halted the flight, left face, reported in, gotten all that taken care of, and then turned around, order arms, and then you give inspection arms. So inspection arms isn't given in any other formation situation. So you're in column formation now, and well, you've got to read the manuals. You just have to. You're clear on your commands, except a couple I don't know the sequence that you're going through, but facing it at is usually done at order. So here we have toe striking. Let's see here. And you stomped. Oh, that's not good. So I'm going to back it up here a bit. I apologize for the lag in the internet here. That's kind of a drag. All right, so let's go back to here. So should have been in order here, most likely. And then gone to right shoulder. A couple of heads moving there. Air Force requires half step to be a heel strike because half step is just like the whole step, only half the size. So you can see toe strikes, you can see a whole foot strike, and the stomp. Don't stomp. Everything is supposed to be all of the steps are supposed to be the same. So, also, Commander, on that column right, I know you've switched sides, but don't execute that pivot until the flight is centered on you. Oh, I gotta back that up too. Team, it's flight. The command is flight. Boy, what was that? So, for the column left, and this is reminiscent of when I was commanding my, with the changing of the sides, reminiscent of when I was in JROTC in Arizona. So on that column left, first squad leader, or sorry, element leader, you're supposed to execute a left face in march, or face as in marching. So it looked like you waited a step for the left step, made an almost half right step, and then pivoted off. So what it should have been is that face in march, where you kick the left foot out from a standing position. You kick that left foot out while you pivot on the right toe. All right, and then you maintain that half step until you hear that the commander give forward. And you can see feet are being lifted quite high. And here you can see the difference in the step technique, and absolutely no stomping. So, commanders, again, you have to wait for the team to come up to you. So the to the rear march is not the Air Force technique. Also grips, rifle grips, I could see all of the fingers have to be closed, and the thumb rests in the curve of the index finger. But you can see several different grips there, and that's not the marching technique or the salute technique for. You're backwards. Why? Or are you? Yeah, okay, so let me. I didn't even notice where this happened. You're. That's odd. Wow. See, what I don't like to watch videos before I critique them, because I want it to be fresh, just like I'm judging you for the first time, seeing the performance for the first time. And here you can see arm swing, a few arms bent. Interesting. You're executing columns without the element leaders leading, and that's not supposed to happen. Your element leaders always lead, so you are in. You started out with a blank space in third element, third rank. So that means you're behind the commander. You're behind the flight. The element leaders are to the right, and you're executing columns with first element leading. So just because you're, and if you had that blank filled in, just because you're marching in a box, 3x3 almost, doesn't mean that you can just do whatever, wherever, however. You have to have the element leaders lead. And, okay, so I'm going to see where this, was it here? Okay, so your element leaders are leading here. Yeah, still going. All right, so there. Let's see. That is. Let's try from there. All right. Oh, rear march. Yeah, that was. It needs to be a half step, turn, half step, step. Half step into the turn, half step again, which the Air Force requires, which is fine, but I don't appreciate it at all. So here you're out of it. Somehow, and I don't know the sequence, but your element leaders aren't leading, and when you salute, the Army and the Air Force swing that arm. You keep the sword exactly where it's supposed to be at that same angle, going back and forth. It's kind of strange, but I much prefer the Marine Corps salute while marching because the arm stays still, but Army and Air Force still swing that right arm. And technically you should be wearing a belt and the scabbard and all that, but this is fine so far. At least you're armed, and Commander, and that's good. So yeah, it should have been a counter column to have your element leaders lead here. So this is where it starts to get interesting. Yeah, you can't call a column left in so you're in, it's not, it's inverted. That's it. Inverted column formation. You can't call a column in inverted column. Can't really call. Okay, so this is why you're. Yeah, I see. All right, so now I understand. Now it could be the problem of the sequence. Why did you do that, Commander? Why did you... Why did you march a little U shape there and then take your... So, again, not knowing the sequence, I don't know if it's a problem with the sequence, or if it's an issue with maybe you, Commander, getting some things out of sequence and then having the team end up where they were. Because every sequence, every regulation drill sequence that I've seen, and I marched in Arizona, you start out in front of the judge, and then you end up in front of the judge, not back at the back of the deck there, the drill deck. So that's an interesting situation there. But well, anyway, so there was a slight speed up on half step for the columns, but it was just slight, so not bad on maintaining tempo throughout. I really appreciate that. That was quite good. But there are some significant issues that need to be dealt with here for the team, and I obviously I hope my comments are helpful. Go through the training circular for the manual of arms, but use the Air Force techniques in holding and the beginning positions and the end positions. So when you're at parade rest, there's a certain technique that needs to be accomplished. When you're at right shoulder, there's a certain technique. When you're at port, there's a certain technique, and you can find those techniques in the pictures, and they're in the colors section. Those are Air Force techniques, and yep, Air Force manual has techniques in it, just like the training circular and the Marine Corps order. There's techniques specific to each of the services. So, what an interesting situation, especially for my first video too. So if you get to another competition and you have another video, then definitely send it to me. I'd love to be able to see what's going on here. And also, email me. I really appreciate the request. But if you have questions, then by all means, email or comment on the video, whatever you'd like. That's no problem. I have nothing but time to answer questions and work on my writing. So, and work on my video presentations too. So thank you again for the opportunity, Desert High. I honestly appreciate it. You looked good out there, honestly. If I didn't have any awareness of the sequence of how it should be, then I would say that you did a fine job. And that's just looking at you. But then, knowing what I know, then I'm going to be nitpicky and get into the weeds there. So there's always room for improvement, always, no matter how good we get. And that's including me. There's always room for improvement for me. So thanks again. I really appreciate it. And I hope this is the continuance of your education and improvement. Thanks again.